All right, let's get into it. We're on the internet all day, every day, right? But have you ever really stopped and wondered what's actually making it all work? You know, the physical stuff? In this explainer, we're going to pull back that curtain and really look at the essential building blocks that connect all of us.
I mean, that's really the big question, isn't it? How does a video you shoot in New York pop up on a phone in Paris like a split second later? It feels like straight up magic, but it's not. It's actually this incredibly clever system of hardware where every single piece has one very, very specific job to do.
So to really wrap our heads around this, we're going to build our own little network, right from the ground up. And to make it easy, we're going to use one simple analogy for this whole journey. Just think of the internet as one massive, sprawling city transportation system.
Okay, so every big city has to start somewhere, right? It starts with a single neighborhood. In the networking world, we call this a local area network, or a LAN. This is your house or maybe your office, just a smaller group of devices that all need to talk to each other.
So the very first thing our new neighborhood needs? Roads. And that's exactly what a switch does. You can think of a switch as all the local streets and intersections, physically plugging together all the houses in our neighborhood. That's your computer, your printer, your TV, and letting them all talk to each other directly, right there on the local network. But how does the switch know which house to deliver a message to? Well, that's where something called a MAC address comes in. Every single device that can connect to a network has a completely unique MAC address that's burned into its hardware from the factory. It is, for all intents and purposes, a permanent house number. The switch keeps a little address book of all these house numbers so it knows exactly which street to turn down. Okay, so our little digital neighborhood is up and running. All the houses are connected and chatting. But right now, it's basically an island. What if we want to send a message to a totally different neighborhood or a different city? Well, for that, we need to get on the highway.
And this is the router's big moment. The router is like the highway on-ramp for our entire neighborhood. Its whole reason for being is to connect different networks together. It grabs the data from our local streets and then figures out the absolute best path for it to take across the huge superhighway of the internet to get to some other network somewhere else in the world. So if a MAC address is like a specific house number, then an IP address is like a zip code. Routers, you see, they don't really care about the exact house number, not at first. Their job is to look at the destination IP address, the zip code, and just get the package to the right city. Once it arrives in that city, the local switch over there takes over and uses the MAC address to make the final delivery to the right house. Okay, let's put that side by side, because this is probably the most important distinction to get. A switch is your local mail carrier. It uses those permanent house numbers, the MAC addresses, to get packages from one house to another on the same street. The router, on the other hand, is the worldwide shipping service. It uses zip codes, the IP addresses, to get packages from one city to a completely different one. See? Local versus global.
All right, our city's got local roads, it's got global highways. That's awesome for all of our devices that are plugged in with a cable. But what about our phones, our tablets, our laptops? It's time to go wireless. It's time to build an airport.
And this brings us to the access point, or AP. You probably just call this your Wi-Fi. In our city analogy, the access point is the airport. It sends out that wireless signal that all your mobile devices can connect to and then acts like a bridge, taking all of that air traffic and getting it safely back onto the wired road network we've already built. So our city is humming along. It's connected by land, it's connected by air. We've got traffic coming in from all over the world, which is fantastic. But it also means we're a little bit exposed. We've got all these new ways for trouble to get in. We need to hire a security guard. And that's our firewall. The easiest way to think of a firewall is as the border patrol for our entire digital city. It stands right at the main highway entrance, and it inspects every single piece of data, every packet that tries to come in or go out. It has a big rule book, and if it spots anything that looks like a bad packet or something shady, it just blocks it, right there. Keeps our whole neighborhood safe. Now you can actually beef up that security even more. A basic security setup might just be an intrusion detection system, an IDS. Think of that like a security camera that can only watch and then send you an alert if it sees something bad. You know, it tells you about the problem, but it can't actually stop it. The upgrade is an intrusion prevention system, or IPS. This is the smart security guard. It not only spots the bad guy, but it can automatically take action, like blocking the attack and locking all the digital doors. Okay, we did it. We've got all of our core components. We've built the local roads, the global highways, the airport for wireless, and we've got security checkpoints at the border. Now let's just take one last look at how they all snap together to create our finished, working city. So let's just run through the build one more time. We started with our devices, right? The houses. Then we connected them all locally with a switch, which gave us our neighborhood roads. Then we connected our neighborhood to the rest of the world with the router, our highway on-ramp. We added an access point for wireless, our airport. And finally, we wrapped the entire thing in a layer of security with a firewall. Each piece solves a problem and builds right on top of the last one. And here is the big secret that brings this all home. That little blinking box that your internet company gave you, the one you just call the router, well, that's not quite right. It's actually a combination device. It's a router, and it's a switch, and it's a wireless access point, and it has a firewall built in, all mashed together into one box. It's your entire city's infrastructure in a single, convenient package.
And that really just leaves us with one final thought to chew on. In a big company, every single one of those jobs is done by a separate, dedicated, powerful piece of hardware. They do that for performance, for reliability. But at home, we trust one little box to do everything. And it makes you wonder, right? What's the trade-off we're making for that convenience? And what happens to your entire digital life when just one of those vital functions starts to go haywire?